guys, it's the Sourdough Baker. I've had some folks reach out to me asking exactly how much starter that they're supposed to use in my recipes. So let's talk about it. If you look at many of my advanced bread recipes, you'll notice that the starter amount in the description is 50 to 150 grams. That's a pretty wide range. In some of the videos, I don't even specify an amount of starter. I just say, now add your active starter. So what are you supposed to do? To answer this, we must understand our starter and how it reacts to its environment. What we are keeping in our jar is essentially a colony of microbes. Every time we feed our starter, we discard some of these microbes in order to avoid overpopulation, and we give the rest flour and water, which provides the remaining amount food and shelter so that they can multiply and we can repeat the process. When our starter reaches peak, our colony has multiplied to the perfect amount for bread making. It has eaten up all of the food that we've given it, but it isn't starving, and it has multiplied so much that it has filled its home but not overpopulated it. The more starter that we add to our bread, the more microbes we are adding to our bread. So 150 grams of peaked starter contains significantly more of this good bacteria than 50 grams of peaked starter. But how does this answer the question? Well, to know how much to add, you have to know your baking timeline goals and your environment. Less starter will take more time to ferment. This is because there is less of that good bacteria that is able to work. When you add more starter, you're adding more of that good bacteria to your dough, so it will ferment quicker. So the first part of the equation is that less starter will take more time to ferment, while more starter will take less time to ferment. But that's not all of the equation. The environment has a huge impact on the speed of fermentation. A cold, dry environment is going to slow down fermentation. A warm, humid environment is going to speed it up. Your starter's favorite temperature to be kept at is 75 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit, which is slightly warmer than room temperature. Usually at this temperature, 100 grams of starter will ferment my dough in approximately 6 to 8 hours. The same amount of starter would take longer to ferment in cooler temperatures. Even just 5 degrees below this, a room temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit could take multiple hours more to ferment. So, this is why it all depends. If you keep your bread on the counter, you must consider the season. In the summer, when temps are warmer, it will rise faster. In the winter, when temps are cooler, it will rise slower. Adding more starter to your dough in the winter can help mimic the speeds of fermentation that occur in the summer. If your starter is kept in a controlled environment, such as a proofer, you will get the same results nearly every time without ever having to adjust the amount of starter. I say nearly because the activity of your starter can also affect fermentation time and ability, but we'll save that for another day. So once again, depending on your baking timeline goals and your environment, the amount of starter you need in a recipe can change. If you're needing a starting place, always start with 100 grams of starter and see how the dough rises. Experiment and see what works best for you, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Happy baking!